So GE was a whole brand new experience, and they had special programs complete with training at night and that sort of thing, and which we worked for 3 months at one plant, and then we go to another one of their plants somewhere else and do the same thing. And at the end of a year or so, between the two, they find a place to put you. Except by the end of the year, I'd gotten tired of living in the East and working for big corporations. And besides that, I was feeling really bad about not being in the war. You had all these mothers with their gold stars and silver stars, and that their sons were in the war and so on. And they look at you, a healthy-looking guy, and you know, the unspoken question was, "Why aren't you in too?" You know. So, and I was kind of missing. I was afraid I was missing out on the biggest event of my lifetime, probably. So I arranged with GE that I would work nights on the night shift, and then I would take the train next morning to Rochester, New York, which is the nearest recruiting place for the Navy officers. So I'd go up there, take tests and things at them, and I'd take the train back and go back to work again that night. So that way I didn't have to miss any paychecks, and yet I got in and was accepted. Well, in order to do this, I had to tell GE that I was going to quit from the Navy. So they weren't too happy because they weren't sure they could get any more engineers till the war was over. So first thing in any event they were obligated to do was to notify my draft board that I was no longer draft deferred. And so in due course of time, I quickly get a letter back saying, "Greetings from the President. Your draft board wants to see you." Well, this was in Fillmore. Well, I still hadn't heard from the Navy whether I was in or not. So I quickly wrote them and asked for a change of venue. So instead of going back to Fillmore to be inducted, could I do it locally someplace? And so while that was transpiring, my Navy commission came through. So I said thanks but no thanks to the Army and joined the Navy. By this time it was like May of 43. And so I bought my uniform, put it on for the first time, got on the train for New York. I was assigned to Fort Schuyler in the Bronx, which is an old Revolutionary fort, actually, the guard of the port of New York, and has been redeveloped for this purpose. It was still going on while we were there. And so I get off the train, go to the hotel, wonder what I'm going to do. It's early yet, so I think, well, maybe I'll go to a movie or something. And so I'm walking out to the hotel lobby, which is full of a lot of servicemen by that time. And Chief Petty Officer comes over and says, "Would you like to go to a party?" And I got this invitation to a party. It looked like a good address. It's on Park Avenue. Said, I've got other things to do, but I hate to say go to waste, and you look like you needed something to do. So I said, sure, I'll go. So I took it, went out to Park Avenue, and this is a place right on Central Park. And you go in, got private elevators. It takes you right up to your floor, opens right into your entry room. And turns out there was a whole bunch of people, daughters primarily of some of the big corporations doing that, and New York debutantes and things, doing their bit for the boys in the service. So we had a great evening, and dancing and entertainment and so on. And the next morning I had to report for duty at the Fort Schuyler, and which I did, and that was 3 months of things. But we worked hard, drilled, had lessons, courses, and everything during the day. But at night, um, or after a Saturday morning drill, which we all had, we were free for the rest of the weekend. And and we were officers and gentlemen on the weekends. So we'd go into the hotel in New York, and which can't remember the name of it right now, and live it up and then back to work again on Monday morning. So that was kind of fun. Although we had what was called a happy hour, which was where we all went out and moved to the rocks out of a field that was going to be a playground field for baseball and all that kind of good stuff for the new trainees, but they hadn't got that done yet, so we were taking care of that for them. And so eventually I did graduate and said goodbye to New York and was sent down to a shipyard in South Carolina, and for temporary duty, awaiting reassignment. And I got there and I found some guys had been there for a year and were still stuck there. In 6 months, in less than that, 2 months, I got new orders to go to Miami, Florida. I broke all their hearts as I said goodbye to them. And so that's enough of that. And the subject.